Hello, we are the sidelines of the DH Bengaluru 2040 Summit, and with me I have Amanda Joy Puravankara, the whole-time director of the Puravankara Group. Hi Amanda.
Hi.
So to start with Amanda, where do you see the real estate market heading in 2040 in Bengaluru?
I think today, when it comes to living spaces, we can already see how much AI and technology is getting integrated into it. Not just when it comes to energy consumption and our utility bills, like that is also being managed and mitigated, but also in our living spaces, in our homes, there's a lot of technology and AI being used to ease our daily life, let's say. And I think already communities, like larger community buildings, use these platforms for interactions and entries and exits. Like we were talking about earlier today, I think in 2040 what will start happening is it will start communicating into larger AI eco frameworks as to communicating into city platforms of where traffic is going, maybe even behavioral data on visitors and the way we live, how we consume our energy, how we consume our spaces, right? What is actually being used in larger developments and what isn't. And then that will possibly inform developers on how to keep improving the way we build and the homes we build. So I think that will be the way it is.
And coming to sustainability, right? How important do you think sustainability plays a part when it comes to real estate trends, design trends in the city right now?
You know, the conversation about sustainability tends to be very layered and complicated because I say complicated because it actually needs all the stakeholders to align in the same direction. At the moment, when we talk about sustainability, again, like I mentioned, it's more from the context of the homeowner, about our utilities, about mitigating and managing our energy, and things like that. But I think at some point it has to then pivot into the developer. So I think going forward it will become about net zero energy buildings and something called circular construction, where your waste materials is then recycled into building. Also, we have to think about who is the changing customer. A Gen Z customer is very passionate about sustainability. So there may be construction techniques that are more expensive, that we don't use today, but are more sustainable. But a Gen Z customer is okay to do that. They're okay to spend more because it makes a difference to the environment. And possibly, I don't think it's too out there to say at some point, buildings that are not sustainable may actually get more devalued than buildings that are green. So I think that's what will eventually end up happening.
Lastly, Amanda, what would you say about the DH Summit, right? What are your thoughts on that?
I think I'm really proud to be associated with the Deccan Herald Bengaluru Summit 2040 over the years. These conversations are so important. Yes, for us to actually create policy change and to move in the direction that's needed, it takes a lot of us to come together, but these conversations are so important. And though we do it year after year, I tend to realize like every year there's something more to learn. You can feel it in the energy in the room, the conversations that are being triggered, the questions that are being asked. There are still things we don't know, even though we were talking about this yesterday, because the rate of change is so fast today. So I think these conversations are very important, but now we have to think about how do we use these conversations to push policy change. And I think it's very powerful tool, very powerful summit.